Duke has won 4 in a row in this series. Virginia all in orange, Duke in the gray on the road with the blue numbers, and Virginia starts off with the basketball. No Yonta Vaughn again for this Virginia team. They have a very short bench and roster with which to play, so a lot falls on the shoulders of these starters. First shot is around and out from Olivia McGee. Starting 5 remains the same for the Duke Blue Devils. Ashlon Jackson, Jane Donovan, Taina Mair, Reagan Richardson, who Kelly talked about, and Delaney Thomas. Anyway, here we go, everybody. We're going to get the first points of this game at some point, perhaps, on this well-earned possession for Duke. Or not. The defense of Virginia instead making some noise, takes it away. They go quickly down the other way. There is Kimora Johnson, number 21, the star, leading scorer of this Virginia Cavalier team. Latasha Lattimore is going to be a big presence inside.
And Jim, we got to keep an eye on this. So because of the shot clock situation, they ended up making that a media timeout. So we will not get our under 5 media timeout, which to me is pretty unfair at this point to the players, because now you're going to play another 9.5 minutes without a media timeout. I would imagine a coach might call a timeout at some point. So just keep an eye on that.
Lattimore unable to get the first point of the game from the free throw line. Second chance.
Guarding Kimora Johnson in this game.
Idessa Noyen back on the floor for Virginia. She started the game but went out. And Duke got it. Really good look there. Just missed the layup. That was part of the problem Carol Lawson talked to us about on Thursday at North Carolina. Blue Devils coming off their first ACC loss at North Carolina on Thursday.
That's what Virginia's trying to do here as well. Keep Duke out of the paint, force them to take mid-range shots.
Not a lot happening early in the shot clock for either team. 3 off the mark. 2 Cavaliers there to try to collect it and win it back. Jackson got herself a lane. And then finally, the Blue Devils get their first points.
With Fournier out due to injury, and of course Fournier's back, but Thomas has looked great.
Thomas was calling for it inside. Mair back out to Jackson, 4 to shoot. She does the honor. Hurd wanted it inside. The double team does the job. Okananwa, number 5, the 6th player of the year last year for the Blue Devils as a freshman, asking for it now. Drives the lane with a loop, has it blocked.
Into the stands.
How about Virginia already with 4 blocks in this first quarter? They average 5 per game. Johnson. Mair. Blue Devils trying to make something happen inside. They have to kick it back out. 2 to shoot for Jackson. Around and in.
Get into the paint and be able to make something good, especially against a zone. That's why people play zone, to keep you out of the paint. And so good job by Ashlon Jackson.
Spin to Lattimore, who reaches up high to grab it and put it away. Door is there. Okananwa goes streaking through
Obviously, she didn't feel her best, but she pushed through and gave them really good minutes off the bench. And that was the first game all year the freshmen have been held scoreless.
And Virginia got the look they wanted. Just couldn't finish. Okananwa into the lane. Swatted away. So that puts Okananwa on the free throw line. First free throw of the game for Duke. Johnson has played the full 40 minutes in each of the last 2 games.
She's got to take her time, assess the defense, not rush the putback, see what the defense is giving her.
Lattimore driving, can't get the roll, does get the foul. Number 13, Georgia Tech and Louisville, and the day is capped off by Miami and Syracuse. Final Final few seconds here in our first quarter. Virginia holding a 2-point lead at the moment. Wood for the Blue Devils. And there will not be a follow-up to be had.
So I love that relationship these two have. And I also, Jen, just love how Kimora Johnson's been playing. She's 4th in the ACC in scoring, coming off 28 points and 6 assists at Clemson. She's been balling.
And 2 points in this game so far, just 2 field goals attempted. No doubt that it was high on Duke's scouting report to try to stop her from getting the look she wants. Here she is with the
Reagan
ball.
Richardson
Going.
They've had Richardson on her, sorry, Jen, and Oluchi Okananwa. And Okananwa, of course, known for her defensive abilities, so.
Including one that went to overtime.
Kimora Johnson, but I love the patience from Mo on that play.
Growing within the offense, understanding when to attack, when to dish off. That's all that Coach Mox was talking to us about. 0 for 8 for Fournier on Thursday, 0 for 3 to start this game. Gets herself a good look here, and there's the finish with the left.
And Jen, that was much better. She caught the ball. She didn't go up right away. She collected herself, used her pivot foot, and then was able to go up and finish.
Johnson saw a little bit of daylight and knocks down the 3. And it's been happening that way recently. They're still playing so hard on the defensive end. So including North Carolina on Thursday night, 22%. Tough to win a lot of games when you're not making many shots.
Right.
Lattimore gave it up, and Noyan takes advantage.
What a catch by Latasha Lattimore. She went up with one hand and grabbed that thing out of the air, and then a great presence of mind to make that pass.
Intensity they're bringing on the defensive end, too. They knew they were going to have to bring it. The way that this Duke team plays defense, you have to match that. McGee, yes! Couldn't get the three-pointer to drop. Duke will try one from the corner. There's their first triple. Another long cross-court pass. Which is dangerous against this Duke defense, but Johnson's been able to find him. Now she drives herself, kicks it again to Lattimore. McGee with the shot clock expiring.
Athleticism to get that ball to Lattimore, and a great decision by Lattimore to make the extra pass. McGee hits it.
Duke on the other end. Johnson and Lattimore finding one another so well. Oh, she's got.
They have not allowed Duke to get to their bread and butter, which is turning turnovers into points. But now let's see if Duke can capitalize.
Richardson, good ball movement by the Blue Devils, trying to get that look they want. That could be it. Virginia, quite an opportunity in this game. No wins against ranked opponents yet on the season, but they have one in their house today. Number 14 Duke, coming off their first ACC loss. Virginia back-to-back ACC wins, looking for more at JPJ today. Lead now 9 for Virginia. Wood. Fournier. Blue Devils need to get the shot off, but they will not find a basket. Crowd liking what they're seeing from this Virginia Cavalier team. But Ashlon Jackson, yeah, 6 points, has been smooth, hasn't taken that many shots, hasn't forced anything. But let's see how this team comes out of the locker room. Blue Devils coming off their first ACC loss on Thursday night on the road at their rivals in Chapel Hill. And that's a good way to start the quarter.
And quite a few missed layups in this game so far for Duke, similar to the UNC game.
Jackson, Donovan, Thomas, Mair, and Richardson, the 5 on the floor for the Blue Devils. 3 up and out. And Lattimore with the rebound, starting 5 back out on the floor for a much shorter Virginia bench. It's a little easier to keep up with who's out there in orange for the Cavaliers. McGee, Clark, Johnson, Noyan, and Lattimore, who has it now, spinning. Clark with the drive, and it's good.
And Jim, we've talked about Virginia's bench being a bit shorter due to injuries. They've played 7 players, but sometimes as a player, it's a little freeing to have a short bench.
It's a problem for her on the floor. She says, I'm usually pretty cool and calm. Yeah, they're both cheering for their daughter when it comes down to it. After that turnover, Virginia trying to make Duke pay. Johnson will head to the free throw line.
That ball had no chance of going in. I don't like to see fouls when the ball does not have a chance of going in.
Then Notre Dame and Syracuse at 4. Blue Devils getting into the paint. But yeah, big block when Lattimore certainly been doing that to the Blue Devils in the first half at 3 blocks of Virginia's 7. Lattimore showed off her range, but this time gets to the basket. Spin, but can't put it in. Quickly the other way. Jackson beat everybody down.
Duke has really struggled with against the zone is their interior passing. They're passing in the paint. Virginia has good size. They've been able to be disruptive, but Duke has got to make crisper passes when they get in the paint.
Ford to shoot, pass to Lattimore, assist to Mo. Duke hitting 50% of their shots in this quarter. They were just under 27% for the first half from the floor. Mair got it out to Okananwa, who knocks down the 3.
Great execution for Duke out of a timeout. Fournier's in the game now. She was drawing a lot of attention inside. Defense shaded off a bit, able to find Okananwa for an open 3.
Paris Clark has gone to the bench for Virginia, but Lattimore is still out there. Wood. Richardson, there's one of those offensive rebounds. Will it turn into points for Duke? Okananwa turns it over.
And that's kind of a microcosm of this game so far for Duke. You get the offensive rebound, you battle for that board, and then you're not able to get anything from it.
Johnson and setting up her teammates almost at will in this game today. After a season-high 28 for her on Thursday for Virginia in their win against Clemson. Another turnover on the defensive end. Lattimore, does she want to go one-on-one? Lattimore throw one down in a Virginia uniform. She did it in middle school. Coach Mox was there to witness it. They will break down the night in the ACC. They'll have highlights and analysis of all the games. And you know they've got you covered all season long right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. A road trip for you, huh?
Jen, we cannot wait. We're going to be in South Bend. We'll be at Notre Dame, Georgia Tech. And, of course, you know, I'm going to just stay in Coach's basement. So I assume she'll make some breakfast for me in the morning. Have coffee ready, right?
I hope so.
You have to give them time and distance, which is usually 2 strides. So I think that's why they called that before she took off from the floor.
Yeah, great point, Kelly. Lattimore.
You don't allow Duke to get out in transition, which is great. That's what you want to avoid if you're Virginia.
Okananwa. Into the paint at the last second.
You know, our thoughts to them as well if they know anybody or if their families are dealing with some of these fires.
Big block there from Donovan to give the ball back to the Blue Devils. Fournier going to work inside. Toby Fournier. Such high expectations for this young woman. Has been coming off the bench all season long, but making an impact when she does. They really need to increase their net, Kelly. Just inside the top 100, they've got to move up. This would surely help them do it if they can find a way to pull it off.
This would be a quad 1 win, which would be huge for Virginia in terms of their resume. They've got to get that net up. You've got to be at least around 60, 70 to be considered a net large.
Blue Devils have never led in this game. 8 on the shot clock. Virginia looking to extend. They can. Noyan battling for the rebound. There's the putback.
What a rebound by Adessa Noyan.
That snaps a 6-0 run by the Blue Devils as they fought their way back. And there is Alexis O'Hannon. Of course, he created Reddit and was a big part of the ownership group in terms of Angel City FC, the National Women's Soccer League. Also married to a pretty big women's sports star you may have heard of by the name of Serena Williams. But I think that says so much, Kelly. It's the largest gift ever to women's basketball. We've not been given a number, but what it can allow this team to do moving forward, they're really excited about.
It's massive. It's so big for this Virginia women's basketball program to allow them to get some more NIL dollars to keep people, but also go out in the portal, perhaps in the offseason or through high school recruiting.
Okananwa hit the three to start the fourth quarter. Now makes a nice move to the basket. 13 points in the game for Okananwa and the first lead of the game for Duke.
When Okananwa gets downhill, she is so difficult to stop. It's very hard to keep her from getting to the rim.
And is this Kamora Johnson time? Does she need to start to take over a little bit more for the Cavaliers?
The answer is yes, Jen. I think she's got to look for her shot a little more. And I know Duke's trying to be all over her, but they've got to look for Kamora Johnson.
Blue Devils swept the two meetings between these two schools last season. Johnson trying to go one-on-one off the inbounds and does. Johnson coming off that season high 28 points in the win on the road.
And Duke's going to keep applying this full court pressure in this fourth quarter, trying to take advantage of Virginia being fatigued perhaps, and of course not having Yonta Vaughn out to injury, who's their backup point guard.
Johnson lost control and managed to get an assist out of it.
How did she do that, Jen? How did she maintain her balance to even get that ball off? Unreal.
Looked like a pretty perfect pass, too. Donovan battling for the rebound as she does.
Well, Jen, we talked about how Kamora needed to take over. She falls down. They maybe could have called that a travel, but they didn't. And Kamora Johnson finds a way to connect with Odessa Noyan. She had the bucket, the previous possession as well, the fake spin move. So she has really started to take over this game here in the fourth quarter.
11 points, 5 assists for Johnson. And a few extra floor burns on that last assist. She'll take them. Virginia picked up 4 wins against ranked opponents last year. Part of this ascension that they've been making under Coach Mox. Trying to get that first ranked victory of this 24-25 season here today against Duke. Okananwa was fouled.
You're exactly right, Jen.
And it is Notre Dame and Syracuse. Finally, Cal and NC State. Okananwa makes good on both of her free throws. Once again, it's a 2-point lead for Virginia. And they got a little sloppy on the inbounds. Duke ties it up. Lattimore going against Fournier. Good defense by the freshman. Johnson has to shoot. Does. Floater. Lattimore grabs the rebound but has it snatched away by Taina Mair.
Virginia's last 2 wins, they've been in control pretty much the whole game. So can they buckle down and realize, okay, we've let Duke make a run, but we still have every chance in the world to win this game. And there's the experience and the poise from Duke that we were just alluding to, Jen, with that big 3 from Mair.
Her first points of the game. Another takeaway. Duke tightening the screws on the road here in Charlottesville.
And we said that full court pressure would be a problem. Without a backup point guard, with your players having played a lot of minutes, that Duke's full court pressure is really working right now.
7-0 Duke Blue Devil run. We give them this 3-point lead in the fourth. Fournier making a 9-0 Blue Devil run.
There cannot be any wasted possessions on offense with so little time left in the ballgame.
And you see they've been scoreless for over 3.5 minutes now, Virginia. Does that change on this field goal attempt? No, but the offensive rebound to Lattimore, guarded by Fournier. Johnson thought she might have taken that. Instead, it goes to Clark. Lattimore again on the offensive glass. Richardson. Back to Mair. Fournier, the offensive rebound, and that is a season-high 20 offensive rebounds today for Duke. Clark left open for three. Can't put it through, and then it's just given away. Great effort by Noyan, but gives it to Duke. Okananwa, can you catch me now? So quick to the basket.
Jen, it was a good effort, but you can't save the ball like that under your own basket. Duke got that ball, and it basically ended up being a turnover as they were able to get down the other way and score. Just let that ball go out of bounds if you're Noyan.
17 points now for Oluchi Okananwa, 14 of those coming in the second half. Johnson for three. Off the glass and in!
Hometown roll for Kamora Johnson. When you're a Charlottesville native and you grew up being a ball kid in this arena for Virginia, you get those types of rolls, Jen.
I guess you do. Crowd loves it. And Virginia creeping back within four now. Needed those points badly, no matter how they came to be. Mair split the defense, but good recovery.
They spot this as a sideline out of bounds. Even harder to get a quick shot off.
Mair takes the quick shot, well off the mark. Virginia's ready to run. Clark gets two more for Virginia. The energy, the intensity, all rising now in Charlottesville with just over a minute to play. 2-point game, massive opportunity for Virginia to get a ranked win and a big chance for Duke to bounce back after their first ACC loss. Duke keeps it here. Do they get the rebound? Not this time. That is Kamora Johnson.
You obviously don't need the three. You're only down two. Plenty of time left. Get the ball in Kamora Johnson's hands. I'd love to get some sort of action, either pick and roll, pick and pop with Lattimore, or at least something where Lattimore can go crash the glass.
Plenty of time, but no timeouts left for Virginia. That's going to be something to watch. The bank three doesn't work twice in a row for the Cavaliers. And Duke does have 4 timeouts. Duke on the season has not been a great free throw shooting team, but they are 6 for 7 today. Okananwa had to reach out to save that pass, but did. Shot clock at 5 for Richardson. Back to Mair. That is a dagger for Duke.
Taina Mair with 2 massive threes in this game, and then the costly turnover for Virginia.
And then the Duke defense rearing its head again as well. This Duke team has come back.
This full court pressure has bothered Virginia so much in the fourth quarter.
A performance for Virginia they'll feel was good enough to win this game.